everyone. Welcome to Lives Worth Telling. I'm your host, Jodes, and my podcast is about digging deep into people's stories and providing them with a platform to share their life and their experiences with my listeners. One of the key reasons in creating this podcast is so their families and friends can have a record of their life, their stories, and their voice forever. One of my favourite things is hearing about people's stories, their triumphs, their hardships, but most of all, I love hearing about their resilience. I really hope you enjoy listening to my guests share their lives with you. I want you to have a few laughs and allow yourself to be immersed in their stories. Well, welcome to episode 7 of season 3 of Lives Worth Telling. Welcome to our new listeners in Glasgow in Scotland, Oldham, Haywood and Bedford in England. In today's episode, we meet T, the creator of Fitness to a T and founder of the Elizabeth Chanakira Cancer Trust. T is a fitness and holistic health coach, a fashion model, a writer, a qualified trauma-informed coach and author. T shares with us how she founded her business, Fitness to a T, and how she has been able to make this a centre point of wellness for others. She also takes us on the journey of how she created the charity Elizabeth Chanakira Cancer Trust after her mother passed away in 2010, and how she still operates it today. T has such an incredibly positive outlook on life despite having some significant health and life challenges facing her throughout her life. She is a published author and has 4 books available on Amazon. Eat Your Way to a Healthier Body, How to Live from One Suitcase in a Year, Healthier Living for the Everyday Person, and her new release, Smoothies for a Balanced Life. So, settle in for an extraordinary story as we get to know the very charismatic T. Enjoy. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh,
So today, my guest today is probably my most well-known guest to date. Today we meet T and chat with her about her incredible life, her business and charity she has created. Wait for this list. T is a fitness and holistic health coach. She is founder of A Fitness to a T. She is qualified as a trauma-informed coach. T is also an author and print fashion model. She has published 4 exercise and nutrition-related books, which you can find on Amazon. As a print fashion model since 2009, some of her achievements include being in the top 100 of Naomi Campbell's Global Model Search out of 10,000 entries worldwide. And she has also had a portrait taken of her hung in the National Gallery in Canberra in Australia. T is a natural fitness model athlete and competed within the International Natural Bodybuilding Association of Australia. She founded the Elizabeth Chanakira Cancer Trust after her mother Elizabeth passed away from cancer in Zimbabwe in 2010. The charity supports underprivileged cancer patients and their families in Zimbabwe with pain management, school fees for their children, and healthy food hampers. In 2023 and 24, she won Philanthropist of the Year as awarded by the Women's Business Awards and Zimbabwe CEOs. So, oh my goodness, what an introduction is that? That's just incredible. So I'm going to say, welcome to you, T.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Now, your name is T for short. So your full name is T-U-A.
Yes,
that's it.
Close.
Is it better? I'm sure you can say it much better than me.
That's Teurai.
Teurai.
Yes, that's it.
So
exactly right.
We are going to explore lots and lots of things. You've done so many incredible things. But let's go right back to the beginning.
Okay.
And tell me about your family, your parents, your siblings, and over to you.
Okay. Thanks for having me again. In terms of going back to childhood, wow. It's good that I'm looking at a photo of my family too. That,
yes.
Jogs the memory.
Yes.
But in my household, I grew up with my older sister, who's now in America, and my older brother. He's passed away now. He passed away in 2021. It was end of 2020, actually.
Okay.
And then I grew up with my mom and my dad as well. They're both late two. So Dad passed away 2017 and Mom 2010.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So you were born in Zimbabwe?
I was, yeah. Yes. I was born in Zimbabwe and raised there until age 13.
Okay.
And my dad was a very high achieving person. So we left Zimbabwe when I was 13 and he was appointed ambassador. So we left Zimbabwe and went to Germany. So he was ambassador.
So what role does that entail, ambassador?
Ambassador is basically someone representing their country but in another country.
Okay.
So he would do a lot of diplomatic things. He would run the embassy.
I was going to say, so the Zimbabwe embassy over there.
In
that's
Bonn.
Where he would be. Yeah,
in Bonn,
so then
Germany.
You then moved there into a home with close to the embassy?
Yes, so we lived in a home that was close to the embassy and we'd host a lot of different delegations as well.
So fancy.
It was very fancy. Fancy dinners and
you were
lunches.
13 then?
I was 13.
You were, what's did school look like for you then when you moved? Changing
school was very different. When I was in Zimbabwe, I was in a girls' school.
Okay.
All girls' school. And then I moved to Bonn and it was mixed. And I was like, oh my gosh, boys in the school. And we didn't have a uniform.
Yeah, right.
We just had wore casual clothes, so to speak.
Yes.
And it was very mixed. A lot of people from children from different countries. A lot of kids from the different embassies.
Yes.
A lot of diplomats.
Okay.
Kids.
Yeah, we have a friend of the show, Naiden. He went to school in Hong Kong because his father travelled and went to an international school over there, and it's similar where everyone's coming from lots of different places. So it sounds kind of similar. That's a big thing to move. Do you remember moving at the time? Did you think, I want to stay home, I don't want to go there?
Yeah, I had very mixed feelings about it. I thought, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Yes. And my friends, I'd gotten used to Zimbabwe and I had no idea what to expect. I was really scared.
That's right. It's a big thing. So then what was the age gap between your sister and your brother and you? So
7 years between my sister and my brother.
Okay.
My sister now, she was born 1973.
Okay.
So she's, and I'm born 1980. So she's 7 years.
Wow, yes.
7 years older. And then my brother was another 7 years older than her.
So quite big age gaps then.
Yeah, big age gaps. Yeah.
How old was your mum when she had you guys? Was she younger or older?
She was older by that time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And, even just having me, because my name means a prayer.
Okay.
It was really difficult for her because she had me later on in life when she was in her 40s.
Okay.
And she nearly lost me. So they prayed a lot so that I would stay alive. Hence my name being a prayer.
Oh, wow. That's
Answered
amazing.
prayer, I guess.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So some of the really, compared to the introduction that I've just given you, but we talk about some really basic things. So what were your chores as a child? So did you have to do things around the house, as a young kid?
I think my chores were mainly tidy your room. I didn't have so many, wash the dishes.
Okay, yes.
I actually did do a lot of cooking too, and I enjoyed cooking.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where the nutrition then comes in later on in life.
Yes.
So yes, it was mainly cooking, tidy your room. And in Zimbabwe or in Africa, you tend to have people who stay in the house and help you with the household work.
Yes.
And so they would do a lot of that. I think my mom then thought I was too young to do things.
Okay.
And then when I went, maybe I was a bit spoiled.
Did your brother and sister have to do more chores than you maybe?
I feel like they did. Yeah, I feel like they did.
Oh.
But my dad always used to say I have to study. So I was very much in my books.
Yes.
And education was a huge thing for my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's, I think when kids have, responsibilities in the home, but the studying, that takes a priority. So what did you do for fun or entertainment as a child? Like what as you guys would do as a family? to play or
We enjoy ourselves. I grew up in a very strict household.
Okay.
So maybe I didn't have as much fun as I would have liked looking back.
Yes.
It was, my dad was very strict.
Okay.
In terms of fun, I personally enjoyed reading.
Yes.
I liked drawing.
Yes.
I was very introverted as well, though, as a child. And looking back, like even now, it's because of certain traumas that happened in childhood.
Oh, gosh.
But as a family, what we would do for fun is go out a lot, like to restaurants. So we liked eating together and enjoying that experience and traveling as well.
Yes. When you say a strict environment in terms of what you were or weren't allowed to do, or where you would want to do things and
not allowed. I wasn't allowed to go to parties.
Okay.
It was only now and again, or if my dad was away, then my mom would say, okay, he's away for the weekend, so you can go. And even just in terms of what I wore. So like, I remember if I'd want to wear something short, I'd have something long on top. And then once dad's gone or mom can't see me, rip off the long skirt and have the short skirt.
There you go. That's very funny.
So yes.
Very clever. So now this one, I'm not too sure. Did you celebrate Christmas in Zimbabwe? Yeah.
Yes, we did.
You did.
Yeah.
What would Christmas look like for you guys?
Christmas was a lot of food.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Christian household, so we had a lot of church and prayer as well.
Yes.
And I think Zimbabwe as well is quite a Christian country.
Okay.
So yes, we're big on Christmas and lots of presents too.
So good. So then, did you open presents on Christmas Eve? Because often the different cultures, religion have different times where they open the presents.
Oh, it was mainly on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day, okay.
Christmas Day,
Yes.
And I used to enjoy also going to my grandma. So my grandma lived in the village.
Okay.
So once we went to the village, we knew that, we'd see all our cousins. So it was mainly playing, even if there weren't so many presents. Yes. Our presents were spending time with each other, playing games, hearing our grandma telling us stories as well.
So did your mum and dad come from big families?
They did, yeah.
Nice.
They really did.
Nice. So they had lots of cousins, aunties, uncles?
Yes, lots, yeah.
Beautiful. That's so nice. What were your favourite meals as a child?
The traditional foods. So there's a food that's called sadza, and it's like you could liken it to polenta. That's the consistency where it's like soft.
Okay.
It's made of maize.
And
so we make it with hot water and then it becomes soft like a potato.
Okay.
Polenta, semolina sort of texture.
Yes.
And we have that with meat and vegetables. So I enjoy that.
And you still cook those things today?
I do. Yeah, I still do. I enjoy it.
That's amazing.
Some soul food.
So good. With your holidays, what would holidays or outings look like? So when you moved when you were 13, did you go on holidays when you were living in Zimbabwe as a child? Like what would a holiday look like? Maybe is it visiting grandparents or?
Yeah, it was visiting my grandmother.
Yeah.
My grandfathers had both passed away a long time before I was born.
Okay.
But it was visiting the grandmothers. It was also traveling to different cities.
Okay.
So sometimes we'd go to like Victoria Falls. You've probably heard of Victoria Falls.
Okay.
It's a famous waterfall. And we'd go to that town and spend time. So my dad was really big on travel and see places.
Oh, well, moving countries is a pretty big thing.
It's a pretty big thing. I guess that's how I got to Australia eventually.
Yes.
That bravery.
That's true. That is very, very true. The question I ask is around what was your home like as a child? Describe what your home looked like.
Oh, all right. So there's the one in Zimbabwe?
Yes.
Okay. The one in Zimbabwe it was a pretty big house. We had 4 bedrooms.
Okay.
Yes, I'm just thinking, I'm mentally going through the house. Yes. I'd say 4 bedrooms. And then my brother had his bedroom sort of built by so it's almost like do they call it a gazebo or some a room that's attached to the house, where he could kind of be separate and have his own freedom, which I envied.
Yeah.
But then he was still part of the family.
Yes.
We had a pool as well, which was pretty good.
So fancy.
Yeah, pretty fancy.
Yes.
A big yard.
Yes.
And I had a swing at the back, and on the seat of the swing was painted Jack and Jill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
Interesting.
So the climate too, hot all the time, like what winter,
hot.
Not like cold winters here.
It's like here actually, but not as cold in the winter, close sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like Australia, because the climate is very similar to Zimbabwe, and the seasons are in line as well.
Yeah, right. I just completely assumed it would be just so much hotter than here, though our summers are quite hot.
It is hot.
Different times. Now, did you have any childhood pets? In Zimbabwe, yeah.
I did, dogs.
Yes.
So I had a Doberman, and then we had one which was a cross between a Doberman and a Ridgeback.
Okay.
And I remember Caesar, that was the Doberman, when he died. That was my first experience with death.
Oh.
I was devastated.
Oh, it's awful when a pet passes away.
Yeah.
They're quite tall dogs, had very tall dogs then.
Yeah, tall and big. And he was pretty vicious, but not only if you felt threatened.
Yes,
but,
yes.
I just remember the pain of that grief, like my first grief.
It's awful.
Yeah, and people wondering, why are you grieving so much? But it really hurt.
Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah.
And what was your neighbourhood like? So your street where you lived, were there lots of young children, or?
Yeah, there were kids my age. They also had similar setups in terms of their houses.
Okay.
I used to like bike riding a lot. So I had a friend of mine who lived close by, another girl, and we'd often bike ride through the neighborhood.
Yes.
Or mom would send me off to go and buy tomatoes, and she'd say, go on your bike. Because she'd know, she's going to go.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, so
really
I enjoyed it.
Because there are, different neighbourhoods where people have lived, whether they live in a regional space or in the cities. It's always interesting to hear what their spaces were like. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced growing up?
I think that one of the challenges was I was really shy, painfully shy.
Yeah, right.
I was so withdrawn. But not really understanding why.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to warm up to people.
Yes.
But I think now when I got to adulthood, I then, the memories of what actually happened came back.
Gosh.
So now I can see why I was withdrawn like that. And I think, I think my parents did the best they could with what they knew.
Yes.
So there's no blame there at all. But it was a very strict environment where I felt like I almost couldn't be myself.
Yeah.
And I find that even now sometimes, because I switched, I'm kind of moving ahead a little bit, but I'll kind of keep it short.
It happens. We'll move back and forth.
Yeah, move back and forth. But because I studied law later on in life.
Yes.
And I practiced law, and then I left law to do all the creative things I loved.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me to tell my family, like extended family as well.
Yes.
Because I always had that feeling like I can't really be myself because what are they going to think? Or
in terms of when you're saying, I don't want to do law anymore, that they're going to be disappointed.
And there was a lot of disappointment. Yes. Even now, I think there's not much understanding, but that's okay as well. As long as I know that I'm feeling more fulfilled.
Yeah, you have to love what you do.
Yeah. I was really miserable doing law.
Oh, gosh.
This is better.
Yeah, we will. We'll move into that in the next segment. I'm always curious about this. What is the most mischievous thing you did as a kid, apart from covering up your short skirts?
The most mischievous thing I would say from about 15 or 16, like sneaking out to go to clubs. So literally mum and dad asleep,
maybe
not knowing I'm out.
Maybe you should have said yes, and then you wouldn't have to sneak out, right?
Yeah, because it's pretty dangerous at night. Anything could have happened.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's right. And nothing happened to you, right?
Nothing happens, yeah.
Worked out okay.
Thank goodness.
So, yes, my my next section is education and school life. So what was school like for you you went to a girls' school in Zimbabwe and then you went to a mixed school in Germany. Are there any extracurricular activities that you enjoyed at different schools?
I enjoyed tennis. So I was in the tennis team and hockey team in Zimbabwe.
Oh, wow.
And then when I got to Germany, there wasn't really an outdoor activities.
Okay.
So that kind of stopped. Okay. But I still had a bike, so I'd ride my bike.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed exercise and activity from then.
Yes.
What other things did I enjoy exercise-wise?
But you enjoyed your study as well. You were quite studious. You know?
Yes, I was. Yeah. And I was always in the honor roll and maybe a little bit sometimes by force because I wanted to please Dad. But I was always a high achiever that way.
Yes. Yeah. So now you have moved, I guess. Where do you live now, and why do you live? Where do you live in Australia? What brought you here?
Wow, that's a pretty long story. From Germany, Mum and Dad went back once Dad's term was over.
Okay.
And what had happened was in the last 2 years of my high school, my dad decided that because he knew already that they would go back to Zimbabwe, he wanted me to just have more opportunities overseas.
Yeah, right.
So the last 2 years of high school, I was in London in a boarding school, a girls' boarding school. So I went back to girls only boarding school, which was
how old were you
interesting. 17, 16, 17, finishing high school.
Okay.
Yeah, 18.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yes.
So in that school, there were a lot of girls from either their dads were businessmen or they were from different embassies, diplomats. Yeah, pretty well to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many years did you spend in that school?
I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where did you go after that?
So from London, then I stayed in the UK.
Okay.
And I then went to Birmingham University.
Oh, yeah.
Then I did a master's at Wolverhampton University.
Wow.
Then I practiced law in Wolverhampton.
How long were you there for?
I was in London for 2, then Birmingham and Wolverhampton for 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
It's a long time.
Working as a lawyer over there.
Yeah, working as a lawyer.
Goodness.
So I worked in law for about 2 years, nearly 2 years. Wow. I was miserable. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Miserable.
What made you want to become a lawyer then at that point?
What happened was Dad had always wanted to be a lawyer when he was young, but because of when he grew up, it was the colonial times.
Okay.
And Black people weren't allowed to go to university, but he'd always wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh.
So what he could do instead was become a teacher.
Okay.
So he became a teacher. Then from there, he worked his way up into government and became permanent secretary of education. Then from there, he became an ambassador.
Oh my goodness.
So he worked super hard.
Yes.
And when it got to me choosing what university I would go to, and I was really, really blessed to be able to be said for a parent to say, what do you want to do? Yes. And where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be a pilot, I think because I like traveling.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, the airline pilot. Yeah. Commercial, yeah.
And my dad was like, no. So anything I said, he was like, no. And then I thought, okay, I'll just say a lawyer. And then he was like, yes, that's it.
Oh, my gosh.
So I thought, lawyers make money. I'll be a lawyer, I'll make money, and I'll be happy. And it's that simple,
That's
right?
too easy. Yes.
So off I went to do law.
Wow. What law did you practice in over there?
So I ended up in criminal and property law.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Gee, that's pretty light.
It is.
Yeah, wow. Hey, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And then when you finished, when you decided you didn't want to work in law, did you work in law in Australia or you left that behind?
I came to Australia and did, I converted my British law degree into an Australian one.
Okay.
And at the time I thought maybe if I move environment and do it somewhere else, I'll enjoy it.
You might like it.
Yeah, because the UK was pretty dreary.
Yeah.
So I moved, and then what happened when I got here? Yep, so I studied law, and I think I was still comfortable in that I'm a student and I've still got time before I have to try and go back again.
Yeah.
I never worked in a law firm again. I did apply.
Okay.
But I never really pushed it as hard as I could have. I think a part of me just thought, I'm not going to really try and push this.
Like it. Yeah.
And then for some time, I worked editing like judges, when the judges make statutes and new laws. So I was editing those for the different books.
Yes.
And then I thought, I'd always wanted to do fitness.
Yeah.
And that had started years before.
Okay.
And then I just started thinking, maybe I could. And then I decided to do like evening classes for fitness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how.
In terms of the like group exercise, do you mean? Or?
It was like Cert 4, Cert 4 in fitness. So I could be a personal trainer.
Wow.
So I did Cert 3, Cert 4. Then I did nutrition training as well so that I could give people meal plans. And then eventually I got to start my business in 2013.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Quite different to law.
Very, very different and very
goodness.
like, oh my gosh, am I actually doing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's something that you love.
Yeah.
You spent a little bit of time there that you were doing something that you didn't like.
Yeah. So I really saw the difference. I remember just coming back even from when I'd be at my law job and I'd just cry. I wouldn't eat. I was depressed really from it. And I didn't agree with what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like with the criminal cases I was defending, like domestic violence cases, but I'd be on the side of, the person who's done the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I just used to think, oh my gosh, this just doesn't feel good within.
Yes.
I think for me, I'm driven by what feels good within me to say, I'm actually giving back. I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not a high-flying lawyer, so to speak.
Isn't that, that's amazing. Yeah. So when you decided that you weren't going to do law anymore, did you tell your parents? Yes. Yeah. What was the reaction?
Oh, they was just gutted.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely.
Not happy for you that you're going to choose something that you love, that you're just not going to be a lawyer anymore.
Yeah, I think...
Did they think you were going to be like destitute and have no money?
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. And I think a lot of society think that too. Like I still get that judgment from people. How could you leave law? Like, why would you do that?
But if you don't like what you're doing, there's no point. Why would you?
There's no point.
Why would you keep doing it? Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah,
yeah. It's rare that I meet a refreshing opinion like yours.
Why did you give up law?
Why
I understand. I really understand that when you're looking at the defence case and you often, in those situations, like they're not always supporting what we would call the good guy or the person that hasn't done anything wrong, that the victim, and then being the the team on the other side.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard where you're kind of, that's really challenging, especially case after case after case, if there be cases that you think, oh, I can't take this on,
Yeah.
Supporting someone that has done something that they shouldn't have.
Exactly.
Especially in criminal,
not
civil. But, gosh.
Yes, it was pretty.
Oh, T, that's... it's so good. You'll never look back. You won't look back and go, oh, I wish I was doing law. No. Thank goodness I'm not doing it anymore because it's really important.
I don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
Not a single
time. You can't get time back. That is definitely for sure. My next question is, which it may be I know the answer to, what has been the happiest time in your adult life so far?
The happiest time.
Yeah.
There've been a few happy times.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I get a lot of value from the work that I do in terms of fitness. Why am I saying that? I think that we're going to go back to it.
Yeah, but that's okay, yeah.
After I found my joy back, I guess, in the last 2 years, really having clients where, yes, people come to me because, let's say, their goal is weight loss.
Okay.
But then within the space of us working together, they start to open up about other things.
Okay.
And a lot of the things are things I've been through. So it might be grief,
Okay.
it might be sexual abuse,
Yes.
and then just being able to use fitness, so the nutrition, the exercise, to help them also recover from all those things,
Yes.
even though I'm
Yes.
using fitness as the tool.
Yeah.
And being able to encourage them, because I've been through that too. And then really seeing someone change, or someone start to have hope again when they didn't.
Yes.
Or, not feeling so depressed. Just seeing changes in people, that really satisfies
So
me.
good. You get joy from other people's joy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
amazing. My next one is, I guess, if you could relive any one day in your life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. It's a very simple thing, but with my mom, like the times where we'd just be together and just relaxing. So she'd pick me up from school. This was in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And even when I'd go back home on holidays, like when I was now in the UK, going back for holidays, sometimes we drive into the city, maybe do some shopping, and then she'd buy us both like a bottle of Coke, like drink, like Coca-Cola.
Yes, yes.
And we'd have that with a bun, and she'd be sitting in the sun, and she'd pull her skirt up a bit so the sun could go on her legs, and we'd just laugh and just enjoy that moment. It was a good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always remember that.
Beautiful times that you've had with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My next segment is around work and profession. What was your very first job?
My very first job. The first one I remember was in the UK, working in a football club. I think it was Aston Villa Football Club.
Oh, wow.
But I was actually washing dishes in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was fun because of the people that I worked with.
Oh, yeah.
We just used to have a laugh.
Yes.
And I think that's where my resilience was born.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that, throughout life, I've been able to get through hard things, and sometimes do really hard things where it's like it just doesn't fit, but somehow I managed to get through it and push through it. It's a bit of grit.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So now, gosh, this is a really big question, but your professional job now, like I guess your main focus is the business that you have created. So how did that come about?
How did that come about?
Yes.
It's
Take us through.
Way back when.
Take us through. Yeah.
So after doing the courses that I did, I decided to then start my business in a gym. So that's when I was like, okay, right, I've left law.
Okay.
So when I came to Australia, I was first in Cairns in Queensland.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I'd moved there with an ex-partner of mine, but things didn't work out.
Okay.
So then I decided to move to Melbourne because I felt, there's more opportunities in Melbourne. It's a bigger city.
Yeah.
So then I started my business in a gym in South Yarra.
Okay.
And just built up a client base there and loved it and
oh my goodness.
Did really well.
So was it where you lease a space there?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so leasing a space there.
How good is that?
It was good. I really enjoyed it. It was hard work, like long hours, working Monday to Saturday. But I just felt like, okay, this is what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
This is my thing.
So when did you start that?
That was 2013 until 2016 when I met a man.
Oh,
and then things changed.
Yes, yes.
Basically.
Okay.
So I shut up shop in that gym.
Okay.
And because I was getting married now to this is my ex-husband. Okay. And moved to Albury of all places.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right?
That's very, very,
very different.
Garden variety, just regional Victoria.
It is very regional Victoria.
Yeah. Albury.
Yes, Albury.
I'm probably guarantee that there was no one from Zimbabwe in Albury.
No. And it was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here?
Was your ex-husband an Australian?
Yes, he was. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so it was very different.
Yes.
Completely different. And things didn't work out.
Okay.
It was just really hard.
Oh,
and like even with my business mojo, so to speak, that just went down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
what a shame.
it was tough.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
offense to Albury. But,
so
then you
offense.
moved from Albury back to Melbourne?
So I moved from Albury back to Melbourne.
Okay.
And when I moved, I got back to Melbourne and I just didn't want all the questions.
Yes.
I guess in Zimbabwe, and within my family, it's very traditional and cultural. And also, I think society can be like this. It just depends that, you should stick it out. You shouldn't leave a marriage. And even though in my marriage there was emotional abuse, I think sometimes it's hard to voice that. And there's almost like there's no evidence, so to speak. Yeah. So it was hard to kind of say, this is what I was going through in this marriage and this is why I've left. So I didn't want too many questions. I just wanted to heal. So what I did was I got a job on a ship and moved away for a year, traveling around the world.
What ship did you get a job at?
P&O Arcadia.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So what did you do on the ship?
So I was a fitness trainer. Okay. And I was training the guests on the ship.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I went around the world. It was amazing.
Had you been on a cruise ship before that?
Never in my whole life. Never stepped on any ship anywhere.
Yeah. How incredible.
Yeah, it was scary, but it was also like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something for myself.
That's incredible.
Just going.
So for 1 year you did that?
I went for 1 year. So I did the training. I had to go back to London to do training with the cruise ship company. Okay. So they trained me up on like Pilates and all sorts of things that I'd have to do, even talking to people, doing seminars. So that helped in terms of public speaking too. Yes. Just, upping my skills, so to speak. And then once I had been for that training for 6 weeks, then I went around the world and went to 74 countries.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So the length of cruises that you would go on, like you would get days off then, breaks when you're like in the shore.
Yeah, you'd get a break or you'd get half a day. It was a lot of hard work. Like I worked a lot. Yes. The working hours are pretty full on. Yes. But there was a lot of healing in it for me as well. Like even just being on the water. Oh yeah. That was good.
Did you get seasick at all?
Just the first few days.
Yeah. And then you were okay.
Then I was fine.
So I guess one of the things that I've been on a few cruises, and you notice that the staff, that they're quite a close-knit team because they're away from their families. Often they've got families in different countries, and the team that they're with is their support network. Did you find that when working on the ship, that the close-knit of the staff, because everyone's away from home?
Yes. Yeah. There definitely was.
Perfect. Yeah. So good. Do you still keep in contact with anyone from those days?
I do. Yeah. A few of them.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's always interesting to see what we're doing. Some are back on the ship again. Okay. Some have stopped completely, like myself.
Yeah. What everyone's up to. Yeah. So then what happened after that?
So once I came back from the ship, I think everything kind of hit home. Yeah. So I came back and I then had to deal with the divorce because for us to divorce, we needed that 1.5 year. Okay. 1.5 year separation time. Okay. So then coming back, facing the divorce and going through that was tough. Oh gosh. And I think there were a lot of things I hadn't dealt with. Yeah. That I kind of said, I'll put it under the carpet and I don't have to look at it. Yeah, that's But then sooner or later, it starts to pop up. Gosh. Yeah. And then I got really ill as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was like, that's when things really sort of stopped in terms of my fitness and all the other creative things that I'd been doing.
Yeah. Did you draw on any of your lawyer information going through the divorce? You know the process, I guess, a little bit there.
Yeah. I did. But still it helped, but he had the upper hand. Oh, really? Yeah, I think, the best team wins kind of situation. What a shame, because
it's like finally the information you can finally help you even though you're not doing it anymore. Yeah. And then going through that process as well, and then stopping what you love doing. and then
Yes.
becoming unwell. That's awful.
I think I just couldn't handle it really mentally. It really kind of shook me. And I think then I'd also lost mum. I hadn't really ever grieved her properly. I'd just kind of shoved it down. So all these things started to pop up, the grief. Then even maybe some of the illness could have connected to that too, because it connects to our emotions.
Yeah, of course.
And then the
absolutely.
divorce.
So much going on there.
Just too much going on.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to restart my business. And it's just like everything was just like, it's too much.
So you'd let the clients go and you just weren't operating at that point.
Like when I left and went on the ship, I had one client who stayed with me, and I would send her programs online. She just still wanted to train with me. So we did that.
Oh, that's good.
It is really
dedicated.
Good. Yeah, very dedicated. Yes.
So my next one, we'll segue a little bit, but what did you want to be when you grew up?
What did I want to be? I wanted to be a model.
You wanted to be a model,
Yes, and I wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah, so it was a model and a pilot.
A model and a pilot,
So good. What are you most proud of in your career?
What am I most proud of?
Yeah.
I think the diversity of what I've been able to do.
Yeah.
The resilience and the consistency in just keeping on going. And also just the people that I've worked with, just seeing how their lives have changed.
Yes.
Those have been really, really special moments.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Was there anyone, I guess, throughout all of the things that you've done so far, who was your greatest mentor?
Greatest mentor.
Where you really would, really value someone's advice or their opinion on certain things?
Yes. I think the person I can think of is my sister, my older sister. Okay. She definitely helps me a lot even now. Okay. And even just in, the times that I went through where I felt like I couldn't share things with anybody, like through my marriage, which was really hard, just her being able to help me see different perspectives without judging me, without telling me what to do. That really helped me in that time. And I think one of the biggest things, or mentor in inverted commas, is my faith. Yes. I'm a Christian, but through all the hard things I've been through, definitely relying on my faith has helped me the most. And then, of course, I use all the other tools as well. Yes. But that's what's kept me strong, I think.
So your sister's still in America?
She is, yeah.
Whereabouts in the States is she?
She's in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Do you get over to see her, or does she come here? You see her there?
I've seen her there. The last time I went was 2 years ago, nearly 2 years.
Oh, you must miss her.
I do. We're due a visit soon, either way.
Yeah, that's right. Whose turn is it?
Yes, exactly.
My next part here is your passions and interests. So I want you to share with us how the charity for your mum came about. So she had fallen ill with cancer. Take us through that.
Okay. So she got diagnosed a few times over 7 years. So it was from when I was in the UK. Okay. So she had first diagnosed with breast cancer, then she had chemo, then she went into remission and she was fine. Okay. And then when I moved to Cairns, she got diagnosed again. And then once I moved, what happened was Dad called me when I was in Cairns and I was about to go to Melbourne, but he said, Mum's really sick. You really need to come home. Oh. So I'd already packed up my stuff. So what I did was take my stuff to Melbourne, leave it at my cousin's place here in Melbourne, and then flew back home. And then, by the time I got there, it had spread everywhere and she was in a really bad way. But at least I got to spend time with her for about 2 weeks before she passed away.
Gosh.
Yeah.
How old was she?
She was 63. Oh, geez. Yes. Geez. Still too young.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think there are still those treatments are still there. I mean, with cancers, it's when it's chemo, but there's different names of the different drugs that they use in chemo, but it's still surgery, chemo or immunotherapy is still kind of very standard, that a a lot has changed, but at the same time, really, it hasn't once it takes hold.
Yes.
And then when she passed away, what made you want to start the charity? How did you do that? How did you pick yourself up after
right?
something so awful and not living there at the time?
Yeah. It was massive.
Yeah.
When I look back, I think, oh my goodness, how did I do it?
Yeah.
But
you've got so much to be proud of. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. But yeah, I think going through her journey, what I had noticed was because she was mainly ill in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Just noticing how the system was.
Okay.
How hard it was for us. Like we were a middle class family and we could afford certain things and pay for healthcare. But I just started seeing, how the majority of people couldn't afford healthcare. And if you have cancer, that's it. You can't really do anything. Whereas for us, we had choices.
Yeah, true.
And I just started seeing how desperate the situation was. So I thought I need to do something to sort of grieve and feel like I'm giving back.
Yes.
And that was my way of grieving.
Yeah.
And I remember even because when Mum passed away, her last few minutes, it was just me and her. Oh. But I remember just saying to her, Mum, I'm going to make a difference for people who can't afford cancer care.
Amazing is that?
Yeah. And I could tell she was listening. That was 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. So she passed away just 2 days before Christmas, 23rd of December. Gosh. So Christmas for me has never been the same.
No.
My Christmases are always different.
Yeah.
But so after that, my dad was very supportive when I said, I want to start a charity.
Yeah.
I was still in Zimbabwe and he was like, okay, let's do it. Okay, let's write a plan. And we sat down and he just helped me with stuff.
Oh, amazing.
He referred me to his friends who were lawyers and just got me going. And I think for him, that helped him too.
Yeah, therapeutic.
Yeah, so we did it together and it was good.
Yeah. That's amazing. So that's still operating back home.
That's still operating, till this day.
Oh my goodness. So have you got a team over there that is managing that?
Yes, I do.
Or are you still managing it to some degree from here?
I'm still managing it from some degree from here.
Yeah.
I'm in touch with the team every day on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But they're a really good team. So there's 3 of them.
Okay.
And now we do things like before it was more like we were going into individual homes.
Okay.
But now we've branched out to where we do community awareness programs nationwide.
Oh, how amazing.
We collaborate with other organizations and do medical outreaches. We donate to hospitals in remote areas, like the ones that need supplies, gloves, syringes, whatever basics they need, just to help the patients.
That's amazing.
So it feels good.
So it's just the people, when people have lost a family member and there's different ways that people can keep their memory alive, but naming the charity after your mum as well, it's what an incredible thing to do.
Oh, thank you.
That's I don't know anyone that has started a charity except celebrities, right?
Oh,
but you're a celebrity, right?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
That just blew my mind. I found that unbelievable. So your interests and hobbies, I guess what I'm hearing is that your hobbies are is your work, is your hobby because you love what you do, right? So not many people really love what they do. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah, people find themselves through their study and training and they're in a job and they're like, how did I get here? I don't like this.
Yeah.
But what am I going to do?
Yes.
But I think how many times then you've picked yourself up and pivoted and gone and done something different.
Yes.
Are there any other hobbies that you have? Do you still draw? Do you still from when you
not draw? I'm a really bad drawer, but I love filming. So I've got a YouTube channel. I really love that.
Yes.
I love the camera. So you'll see me like on my social media platforms doing a few dances, but then also doing education along with it.
Okay.
I love reading. I like cooking.
Yes.
I like filming my cooking.
Yes.
That's why I've also got the smoothie book too.
Yes.
What else do I enjoy? Movies, music.
Yes.
eating out at restaurants,
So good.
traveling. I
You
love
have
nature.
done lots of travel. It's
Yeah.
and I think, my next question, you covered this really, really well, and what you're passionate about. I guess you're passionate about people, and giving them joy gives you joy. Is there any favourite music or bands that you enjoy over the time?
I really have to think about this. I've got so many.
Yes.
I've got so many. I listen to a lot of, I suppose it's like Christian instrumental type music.
Yes.
I like positive music. I listen to a lot of gospel music.
Okay.
Gosh, I've got so many. Honestly cannot think of one to name.
What was your first concert?
UB40.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, good band.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where did you see them?
In Zimbabwe, on my uncle's shoulders.
Oh,
it was amazing.
wow.
He put me on his shoulders and I was like,
That's so cool. I love
Labor of love.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
How old were you then?
How old was I?
You're on someone's shoulders. Yeah.
Maybe 8.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I just still
That's
remember
pretty good.
sitting on his shoulders.
That's pretty good. What about favourite movies, TV shows, actors?
Oh my gosh, I've got so many. I love Viola Davis and the things that she produces and things she acts in. But I've got so many. Scarface, I really liked.
Yes.
Yeah, just, oh gosh, I can't even name them.
Just the tradition, just those more classics.
Yeah, classics
movies, yeah.
Yes. And things with a meaning too.
Yes.
As in, I like life stories.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Very much. I can understand that. Moving on to your family and friendships. So who are the most important people in your life now?
Important people in my life. Definitely my sister and her kids.
Yes.
My niece and my nephew.
Oh, lovely.
And she's married too. So yes, the father of their kids, of course.
Yes. How old are they?
10 and 13.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, really lovely. Yeah,
So
they mean the world to me. They're like my kids, basically.
Yes. Best job as the auntie.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And in your friendships that you currently have, how valuable are your friendships to you?
Oh, really valuable.
Yeah.
And the friends that I have, even though like my closest friends, I have some close friends in Australia, but my closest friends are all over the world.
Yeah, I bet.
But we still keep in touch on WhatsApp.
Yes.
And I also have close friends that we're in a prayer group and we pray every single morning. And we have done for years. So that's pretty good.
That's really good. So do you attend a local church?
At the moment, I'm not attending a local church. I'm just sort of visiting different churches and trying to find a home in one.
Try before you buy.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's something that, sometimes people are drawn to a church because their family attend that church and that's when they're attending that. But then I guess if you're starting from scratch, what are you looking for when you're looking at the churches?
I'm looking for, I guess, the feeling when I go and I know that, okay, this feels like home. Yeah. There's a church that I go to now, just Stay Away Church, that's in Vermont.
Okay.
And I really like that. I like the music. I like the worship, the people.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I do watch a lot of things online on YouTube as well.
Okay.
So that helps me.
Yeah. Online definitely has given us some great things as well as some not great, but what's your favorite thing to do with your friends?
Eat.
Yes.
Yeah, eat, talk, laugh. I love being out in nature as well, so that's something I like. Yeah. I'm not a great shopping person for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though I've done modeling.
Yes.
But if I go into a shop, I know what I'm looking for. I want these pants with this top, and if I can't find it, I'm out the door.
Just going back to the modeling, take us through how that started. How did the modeling start?
As a shock, really, a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
But when I was in Cairns, when I got to Cairns, I walked into this lady's shop and I was looking at all the clothes and thinking, this looks really nice.
Yes.
And then she was like, oh, have you modeled before? And I was like, no.
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And she said, oh, I'm having this fashion show. Could you model my clothes? And that's how it started.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got scouted by, there was a scout who was from Townsville.
Okay.
And then I entered a pageant.
Okay.
And did well in that.
Wow.
And then from there, I started entering other competitions, started doing shoots with different photographers.
Okay.
Got into the local newspaper as well, got into the local magazine, and it just started growing from there without me really intending it to.
Unexpected, right?
Yeah. But I really loved being creative, and I found that whenever I was in front of the camera, I just became alive.
Yes.
I just really become alive in front of the camera. I love it.
Yeah, so good. And so your picture was hung up in the National Gallery in Canberra for 1 year.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. And it was linked to my mom's story. So the photographers who had taken it, they took it because they'd heard of the charity that I'd started in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And so in the photo, they wanted to show my compassion. They wanted to show the grief that I was going through at the time, and they captured it so well and put it into a competition, and it won.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's just such an unexpected thing, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
When something like that happens.
Yes.
So you don't do any modeling anymore in terms of, in the fashion competitions and things?
No, I don't.
Just like, that was fun, I'm not doing that anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, like if something comes up, then I will do it. But I feel like I'm still able to bring that part of me into even like my fitness pages, because I do a lot of skits or, I'll do things where I'm on camera.
Okay.
And I found that what I picked up from modeling, just even being able to present in front of the camera helps me a lot.
The skills that you picked up.
Yes.
My gosh, T, I don't know if there's anything you cannot do.
Oh, there's probably a lot I can't do. Like be a lawyer, for example.
You can take your legal advice.
No, don't take it.
Oh, my goodness. My next segment is life's turning points. So, gosh, I think there's quite a few, but can you share a significant turning point or moment of realisation in your life? I'm guessing that when you decided that I don't want to do law anymore, is there anything else? So you mentioned that your father passed away. Was it how many years after your mum?
It was 7 years after.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was a big turning point, and it was a shock because he passed away in a car accident. So it was very unexpected.
Yes.
So that was huge. Divorce.
Yes.
Definitely. That was a long sort of drawn out grieving process, because no one ever says, I'm going to get married and then I'm going to get divorced. You're thinking it's for life.
That's it.
So that was big.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to learn to really have compassion for myself. So that was a big turning point.
Yeah.
And to forgive myself. And then with dad as well, losing dad and mom and grieving them. And then grieving my brother as well.
When did he pass away?
So he passed away end of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, how old was he?
Oh, gosh, then he would have been in his 50s, early 50s. Yeah. So
and where did he live at the time?
In Zimbabwe.
He was back home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, that was a shock too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was quite a few there, but I think someone I was speaking to in one of the other episodes was one of the things they said they were proud of, that they were still here because they've had so much happen.
Yes, that's so
happen
true.
in their life. Yeah, absolutely.
That's very true.
Yeah,
and I think as well, dealing with the endometriosis that I was diagnosed with. Now I've healed a lot, like even in a way that has shocked the specialists and the doctors.
Okay.
But I think dealing with endometriosis and fibroids, whilst also being such an active person, and then it's like, no, well, you can't do the things that you used to do anymore.
So when was that?
That was when I came back from the ship. That would have been 2019. So that's when the symptoms really started to show.
Oh, gee.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting crippling tummy pain.
Yeah.
Sorry to be graphic, but a lot of bleeding, like continuous bleeding for months.
Gosh.
And the doctor's trying to find different medications to try and stop that bleeding. But really, so I was always in hospital. I'm always getting iron infusions. I was so weak and just thinking, what's happening?
Yeah.
And it was only later on that the endometriosis was diagnosed. So all along, the doctors thought it's just fibroids. But then it was like, oh no, you've got stage 4 endometriosis.
Gee. Any in the family? Like mum or sister? No one else had it?
Not within my immediate family.
Okay.
I do suspect that maybe some women in my family have fibroids.
Okay.
But it's not something that we've talked about so openly.
Yeah.
And I think now I talk about this openly because like just like what you said about your podcast, you want generations later people to listen to our voices. So maybe there could be another young woman in my family who thinks, oh my gosh, Auntie T in her podcast said, maybe I should get this checked out or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Because then something's not right then, is it? Yeah. So what sort of treatments were you looking at the time?
At the time, it was mainly medications that they were giving me. But then they said, okay, now we're going to do operations. So I had 2 laparoscopies. And then the last one I had, when they took out some fibroids, they couldn't take out every one of them because sometimes it was too dangerous to get to some. Okay. Then they took out one of my ovaries. But I only found out afterwards. They're like, oh, we had to take out one of your ovaries because it was pretty much hanging for dear life.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, geez.
So was that surgery here in Melbourne?
That was in Melbourne, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a shock.
Yes.
And a bit of shock to my womanhood.
Yeah.
So really thinking, who am I as a woman? Like, these things are what identify me as a woman.
Yes.
So I went through a period that was a big change.
Oh, gee.
Of thinking, am I womanly or am I not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's everyone's experience of endometriosis definitely it varies. But sometimes it's not acknowledged. Yeah. It's like you say, people don't talk about it.
Yeah, they don't talk about it much.
It's more and more common, I think, that more it's come out. Terrible stuff that what our bodies go through sometimes. My next segment is a bit lighter. It's called Curious Corner, where I ask random questions about my guests. Can you recall a time where you just couldn't stop laughing about something?
Oh my gosh, I really have to think.
Yes.
I can't think of a single one.
Yes.
And I know I've had many of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do remember. Oh, my gosh. I'm surprised. I didn't think I'd remember anything. It was when my mom and I went to like a theme park ride in the US.
Yes.
And my mom was like, no, I don't want to go on the roller coaster. I'm too old for all of that. And my sister was like, oh, come on, Mom, live a little.
Yes.
And she was wearing a wig.
Okay.
So we got on the roller coaster and her wig, she had to hang on for dear life. And my sister and I were just laughing the whole time.
So it stayed on?
It stayed on, thank goodness. She had to hold it on.
Whereabouts was the theme park? Do you remember the name of it?
I don't remember the name of the city, but what we did was my mom and I went to visit my sister in the States.
Oh, how lovely.
Yes. And then we did like a road trip. But I can't remember where we went. We went to a few places, like a few cities within the area. And my sister at that time was living in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was around those areas.
Yes.
I can't remember where. I just remember the look on Mum's face of sheer horror.
It's such an enormous country, America. It's so huge.
Yeah.
A very good friend of mine, Lady Amanda, shout out to Lady Amanda. She lives in Alabama. I grew up with her. We've known each other since we were 5. And
nice.
She lives in the States. She's lived there for quite a while. So she just recently moved to Alabama.
Wow.
Down in the South.
That would be nice.
Yeah, she has cotton fields behind her. I can't wait to visit when we get a chance.
Yeah.
But my next one is I introduced this question in my last episode was, what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
The weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Oysters is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure I've eaten something stranger than that.
Do you like oysters?
No, I find them a bit strange.
The whole oyster thing. Some people like it. Yeah.
Maybe crocodile tail.
Oh,
that's
my
a
gosh.
bit weird.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so we'll say that.
Did you like it?
Not really. It's a bit rubbery. Yeah, it's just weird.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine it might be. Well, my next question was, would you eat it again?
No.
No.
Well, I'll skip.
My next question is, name 5 people you would invite for dinner and why. So it can be people from the past or celebrities. Some people, choose different people for different reasons. But if you could have a few people at the table, who would you have?
Oh my goodness, who would I have? Wow, that's a really hard question.
Yeah. Did you know both sets of grandparents on each side with your mum and dad?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't know my grandfathers.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So there'd be people to invite. I think
for
just
sure.
so I could hear the history and the stories. That's a good jog you gave me there.
Yes.
So basically, these people don't even need to be alive. So
no, that's right.
I definitely invite my dad only because I'd like to ask more questions about his childhood from him. Yes. I'm really curious, and now I can never really
It's
know.
so hard, T, because when no death is easy, but when it's sudden, there is no preparation there. It's just gone,
Yes.
And then it'll come to you where I didn't ask this, I didn't ask that, and especially if they haven't talked about it through their life or for whatever reason have not talked about things. But that's and gaining information about him if he had other family members you can talk to. But the one person that you would like to ask is him.
Yes, directly.
Very difficult. I understand.
Yeah. So that would be good too. And I was even thinking maybe even some characters.
Yes.
Like I don't know if a lot of people would know this character, but it's Daniel in the Bible. I don't know if you've ever read the Bible.
Oh, no.
But he was someone who was just had someone who worked well. He had a spirit of excellency, so to speak. So I just liked his work ethic and the way he was always led by good values.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but always doing really well in all his work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I'm a bit of a geek.
That's a good one. Oh, now we talked about this one before we started recording. Is if you could choose one song every time you play every time you walked into a room, what would you choose and why?
What would I choose?
Potentially, it might be one of the Christian songs that you listen to.
There's a song I like by a lady called Kim Walker.
Okay.
And it's called Revival. It's just about living, just being alive. Using your gifts, so to speak, and using them for good.
That's a good one. Oh, my signature dish to cook.
Signature dish.
What's you like to cook? You means like more savoury or sweet things, or what's your favourite thing to cook?
I like both. I'm a sweet tooth person, so I like chocolate mousse.
Oh yes.
I love smoothies. Of course, I've got a book on smoothies.
Yes.
And I also like savory, so soul food from Zimbabwe. The sadza that I talked about before, that's like a potatoey texture with stew and vegetables. Yeah. So soul food is good for just making me feel like comforted.
Yeah, for sure. Do you like, I guess, a variety of different styles of food? With from Chinese food to Thai to Indian.
Yeah.
We've got so many choices here in Melbourne. We've got
there's so much.
Every restaurant possible.
Yeah, I love that about Melbourne.
Yeah.
And the coffee's good too.
Yeah, that's what we're here. I'm not a coffee drinker, but that's always a thing when people who head to the States and the coffee in America is just apparently so terrible compared to here.
That's so true.
It all looks like coffee to me.
Yeah.
My next one is about injuries. So I've injured myself, as I was explaining. I injured myself a couple of days ago, several times over the years. I'm always curious about other people's injuries. Can you tell us about a time where you accidentally injured yourself?
The only injury I had was my shoulder when I was doing bodybuilding.
Oh, gosh.
And that was hard because it was like, no, I want to compete.
Yes.
But then I took time to get it healed. And then there was a time when I was young when my sister slammed my finger in the car door.
Oh, yeah.
That hurt. I still feel the pain.
That's a doozy.
Oh,
you don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Painful.
That's awful because it's one of those things where if the door is completely shut and then someone has to open it and then...
it broke.
Yes.
Finger broke, so I had to have a...
Oh, did it?
It did. And
Oh, my
Mum wasn't
gosh.
impressed.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Your sister would have been feeling awful.
I think so.
With doors. Doors are... I was once... my family were at the drive-in, like, you know, where the drive-in movies where you park the cars and watch. And then we went to the toilets and... I was waiting for someone and I put my hand in the hinge of the door, waiting for this person, and that person shut the door on my fingers. Oh my gosh. I was just a kid. I was screaming.
Yeah, you would.
All these people were banging on the door to get this woman to open the door. Oh, boy. My fingers were so bad. And then we got like iced water and that was the worst one. But, yeah, doors were a thing. Car doors, front doors, I don't know. Yeah, but that hurts.
It does. Even as an adult, I'd scream.
Yes,
really loud.
The pressure on your fingers. My next segment is legacy and reflections. What are you most proud of in your life? Just so many things.
I think the charity, I'd say. And the reason being because it's not easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we have to push through. A lot of decisions. Sometimes the decisions are not easy to make.
Yeah.
We want to help everyone, but sometimes we can't.
Yeah.
And that hurts too sometimes when we can't help someone because we just can't.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's the most fulfilling thing that I've done and that will stay behind, I hope.
Yeah.
When I'm long gone.
Yeah. I think that you started it and that you've named it after your mum, and also that it's gone from strength to strength and is still doing things in the community. Do you get donations from the wider community to then distribute to the people in need? Is that how the charity works? Yeah.
Yes, that's how it works. Yeah, so we get donations from worldwide, really.
My gosh.
And doing fundraisers as well.
Yes.
I also do some online fundraising. I've done things like runs or walks.
Wow.
Other people have done things where they volunteered. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And even sometimes when we think, where are we going to get the money?
Yes.
It comes somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow it always
works out.
It always works out.
Yeah.
So it's good that way.
When was the last time you went back to Zimbabwe? When were you last there?
I was last there end of 2023.
Okay.
So a visit is pending very soon.
I was going to say, been a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your life you regret?
I regret not noticing the red flags before I got married.
Okay.
I think that things would have been very different, but at the same time, that experience has also made me who I am now.
Yes, I agree.
And helped me to make better choices.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's sometimes things happen for a reason.
I think, I thought you were going to say become a lawyer. But then you have to not like something to realize what you do like.
Yeah, true.
So that then led you to where you are now. Had you not become a lawyer, to really
true.
not like something.
Yeah, and to get to Australia too. It was through law, really.
Yeah.
So
what do you love about Australia?
Oh my gosh, what don't I love?
Yeah.
The weather, the people. I just feel at home here.
Yeah.
And also the environment. So like if you're out in the bush, more in the country areas, it reminds me so much of Zimbabwe. So I feel at home.
Yes.
I just feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the UK? Did you enjoy being in the UK? That you didn't want to settle there eventually, though.
I didn't. I think it was too cold for me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Way too cold. So I really didn't like that. And by the time I left, I think things were really hard economic-wise in the UK. Yeah. And I felt like I could feel it more.
Yeah.
Because of the weather. The weather doesn't help.
Yeah.
And when life is hard in Australia, it's just better when it's sunny.
Yeah, I think that, I've heard that said before that the dark days, just the weather, it's just when it's a sunny day, you'll notice people's disposition is so different.
So true.
A nice day, it's a nice day. It's raining, or it's cold, or but we do get some sunny days. Though it's been a bit cold lately.
It has been. But Australians are very happy people.
Yes.
They're bubbly and joyful. So I feel that. Yeah,
it's so nice to hear that, because I guess as a country, we don't really know what we look like to other people or how we present. It's because everyone thinks their country's amazing.
Yes.
But, I mean, the true reflection of that is a visit to our country that wasn't born here, that feels welcome, is really nice to hear.
Yes.
Really, really nice to hear. My next one is when you look back on your life, what do you hope to be remembered for?
Oh, wow. What do I want to be remembered for? Oh, having made an impact.
Yes.
That someone can feel like, oh, wow, my life changed because I was given this tool that I've used forever.
Yeah.
And for being kind too. I think kindness is a good factor. It doesn't mean that, people should take advantage of you.
Yeah.
But kindness goes a long way. And just having lived without shying away from doing what I enjoy.
Yeah.
To really be like on my last day, say, you know what, I really gave it my best.
Absolutely.
And I did the things that made me happy and made others happy too.
Yes. Yeah, that's so important. There's a couple of things I want to pick up on in our last little bits and pieces. So you are a published author. How did that come about?
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Published author. How did I start writing? I think I always enjoyed writing from when I was young.
Yeah.
And then when I got into fitness, I found that I wanted to, instead of just only training people, I also wanted to have different products that people could use and have forever, basically like a stamp.
Yeah.
So I thought, why don't I do some books? So like one of my books, obviously people can't see it.
Yes.
That was one of my first ones, where it's got like an exercise guide.
Oh,
so basically
wow.
I did all these pictures.
Oh my goodness.
So someone can follow that and actually have like a week's worth of workouts.
Yeah. I'll put copies of those up on the Facebook page.
Oh
yeah, definitely.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. And then I just kept writing and kept doing more books.
You self-publish then?
I self-publish, yes. I self-publish. So with my writing, I don't think that it stopped at I just want to create digital products so I can help people with their exercise and nutrition. I think that it's really evolved over the last few years to where I want to write to help people heal in some way.
Yes.
So that's how my latest book on Amazon, Smoothies for a Balanced Life, came about. So that's just recently published.
Yeah.
And, I mentioned about how when I came back from the ship, I was dealing with so many things that I tried to suppress that just came up. So dealing with the divorce, past sexual assault, fibroids, endometriosis, grief.
Yes.
All those things. And smoothies really helped me. They are quick, they're easy, and I could also use specific ingredients to target the way I was feeling and really feel the difference. So reducing the anxiety and the depression that I was going through. What I love about this new book is that with each smoothie, there's a different healing benefit. And I list the specific ingredients and why they are good for you. So you're empowered to know what you're taking in and what the benefit is.
Yes.
So there's smoothies, for example, for you if you want to increase energy. There's smoothies for reducing stress, reducing headaches, hormone balance, better womb health, better digestion. There's a smoothie for everyone.
So good.
This is really like my little baby. So I encourage you to check it out on Amazon. Yeah.
So all of your books then are listed on Amazon now, so people can purchase them.
Yes, they can.
Electronic versions or the paper versions.
There's both, so you can choose from Kindle or paperback.
Fantastic.
And then I'm writing my next book as well.
Yes.
But for that, I'll be looking for a publishing house.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening.
Yeah, shout out to the publishers out there. Yes. Oh my goodness, this would be a ripper. It would be amazing. And you are available on social media for all of your various things. So your main one is Fitness to a T.
Yes, it is. So Fitness to a T on Instagram. So Fitness to a T _official.
Yes.
And then my YouTube is Fitness to a T and TikTok Fitness to a T.
Oh, TikTok as well. Yes. Yes. A friend of mine, Lady Amanda from the States, she gets asked all the time, are you that girl from TikTok? She's
really?
all over at the moment.
Oh,
She says, yes, this is unexpected.
That is so good.
Is there anything else that you wanted to chat about before we finished?
I think just to add that on Facebook, my Facebook is under my name, Tara Chanakira, if anyone wants to get in touch on Facebook. So with my business, Fitness to a T, in terms of the exercise and nutrition part, I transitioned from training people in the gym to training women worldwide and online through my online exercise and nutrition plans.
Yes.
What I love about training people online is that I can reach so many more people, different cities, countries, continents. It's amazing. So all the plans are customized to suit the individual.
Okay.
And in terms of the exercise, you can access those customized plans through an app that's been designed for my business. If you want to learn more, you can hop onto my website and contact me from there. My website is fitnesstoat.com.au. So
I'll put the links up on the Facebook page and Instagram as well. But yes, thank you so much for joining me today, T. We have covered lots and lots and lots, and I cannot wait to upload this bad boy, as I say. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to T for a wonderfully enriching chat about her life. To be honest, I was in awe of everything she has achieved, but also everything she has created. From pivoting out of a law career to creating her own success in the formation of her business, Fitness to a T. T is living proof that achieving your dreams and goals in life is very possible, no matter what the hurdles are. Also, have a look at the website of the Elizabeth Chanakira Trust. Their work is nothing short of incredible, and what the Trust does for underprivileged cancer patients and their families in Zimbabwe. Lastly, check out T on her website, www.fitnesstoat.com.au, Instagram, fitnesstoat_official, TikTok @fitnesstoat, and also her YouTube channel. There is no doubt T has inspired you by listening to her story, but her resilience and continuing to bounce back each time. After we finished recording, T was very kind and gifted me a copy of her new book, Smoothies for a Balanced Life. I asked her for a recommendation as to which smoothie I would try first. She recommended a smoothie called Hormone Harmony, which is made with blueberries and mesquite. So it's definitely time for a smoothie. Cheers. Tune in to our next episode where we get to hear more lives worth telling. Don't forget to check out and follow us on your socials. And if you love what you hear, please rate and review us on your favourite podcast app. Of course, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with us through the Facebook page or Instagram. If you or a friend or a family member would like to come on the show, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. And if you want to grab yourself some merch, jump onto Redbubble to check out our products. Thanks for listening to Lives Worth Telling. See you next time.